Should you buy the brand new Gibson Les Paul Music City Special? Stick with me to the end because I'll tell you. It's John here from Play and Trade Guitars, and if you like new guitar reviews, informative buyer's guides, and comparisons, hit subscribe and join this community of guitar players and traders. Today we are checking out the brand new limited edition Les Paul Music City Special. And I'll tell you what, it's a long title, but it's a pretty cool guitar, and it's inspired by two other guitars in Gibson's prior collection, including a Norland era Marauder. We'll talk about how it's similar and different. I put this guitar on the bench and pulled it apart, so we'll talk about specs, and mainly the most important thing, how does it sound? Of course, I'm gonna plug it in and play it. But at the top, if you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, click to buy new gear using my link. You'll find it pinned in the comments down in the description, or you can scan this QR code and shop on your smartphone. It makes it super easy to buy new gear when you get fast free shipping and easy payment plans. Those payment plans makes buying a Gibson super easy, trust me. Stick with me to the very end because I'll give you my honest raw reaction to playing this guitar along with a final score. I'm also going to give you some alternatives and comparable guitars to consider in the same price range from Gibson. There's a lot of good options, and this guitar may or may not be right for you. So let's get started, drop a comment as we go, and let's dive in to this Music City Special. So I gotta tell you something, at first glance, I think this guitar is really cool. I mean, what's not to love when you've got a flying V headstock, you've got a thinner bodied, contoured Les Paul style body, but then the differences start to mount pretty quickly. Let's start head to toe here. First of all, like I mentioned, flying V style headstock with the gold Gibson emblem. You've got this commemorative Music City, and that's commemorating 50 years of production at the Nashville, Tennessee plant. So this is made in America. It's got a full gloss nitrocellulose finish, and I think that this particular dark burst is absolutely beautiful. It's probably my favorite finish of the options that they offered in this limited edition collection. Now that said, you see a lot of that wood grain, right? It's not your traditional mahogany. This is actually going to be poplar, which is a different choice for Gibson. And the original guitar that this was based on, the Marauder, was actually a bolt-on guitar. This is not a bolt-on guitar, this is a set neck guitar. And that is one of the most important distinctions about this guitar and how it differs from the vintage Marauder. Also, that guitar had Bill Lawrence single coil style pickups, whereas this guitar, they just went with straight humbuckers. To tell you the truth, I think that was a little bit of a lost opportunity. I think they could have put P90s, or they could have at least put mini humbuckers and given you the option to put P90s in this guitar for the true single coil effect, because originally that's what this guitar style was going head to head with. It was Fender and bolt-on necks. We had a wider nut at 1.72 inches. We have a slim 0.79 inches at the first, up to 0.9 inches at the 12th, and it was 2.07 inches wide at the 12th. It would have been cool if they did maybe like an ash body like they did in the Junior, which they did in 2013, which was a cool guitar unto itself. But this is a poplar body with a maple neck. And then you've got this big pickguard. I feel like I'm taking a Fender pickguard off. It's wild on a Gibson, but you've got a set of 70s humbucker. While it's a slim neck, I did notice that it feels a bit wider. And I will tell you that Ebony, I haven't played a guitar with an Ebony fretboard in a little while now, and man, am I reminded of how luxurious Ebony fretboards are. It's just a joy to play an Ebony fretboard. You just got these simple dot acrylic inlays, which I love. A lot of the Ebony has a little more streak to it. This is just more of a solid dark piece of Ebony. Either way, it's beautiful. And coming down to the body, you've got these uncovered 70s tribute humbuckers. Flipping up this heavy pickguard, check this out. You've actually got 3 humbucker routes under there, all hand wired, 500K CTS pots, and these are the 70s tribute pickups, and give you a look at that raw poplar down there as well. These 70s tribute humbuckers read a hot 14.3 in bridge and 15.6 in neck. So this is just going straight Gibson, set neck, humbuckers, looking to roar, but with the difference of that poplar body. Now also, taking all this into account, the fact that it's a thinner slab poplar body, this guitar is super lightweight at 7 pounds. So super well balanced and very comfortable to play. If you're looking for a Les Paul style guitar that is lightweight, this is definitely something to check out. All right, let's take a look at some comparables and other options to consider if this is piquing your interest. So here we are, $17.99. I told you the tobacco is my favorite because you get a lot of that wood grain popping out. You also have an ebony finish or a wine red finish. All these are limited edition and limited to about 600 or so of each finish. So check the link for current finish availability and pricing. So what else is available in this price range that you should consider? Well, remember, one of the hallmarks of this guitar is that it's super lightweight. For less money at $13.99, you can get the Les Paul Modern Light. Now that's gonna have a satin finish instead of a gloss and a slim neck, uncovered humbucker. So in many ways, this is a similar guitar if that's what you're after. It's gonna give you that contoured body, that slab body, and it's gonna be just a nice playable guitar. This guitar sounds great. $13.99, you even get that cool matching headstock and lots of cool finish options. But another guitar to really consider is the Les Paul Special, because like I said, I kind of wish they put P90s on this guitar, and I noticed, check this out, don't miss this sale. This is usually the same price, $17.99. It's 200 bucks off right now. You've got to have a guitar with P90s, and here's the true to form Les Paul Special with two P90s at $15.99. This is an absolute great deal right now. Vintage cherry, ebony, or TV yellow, and this is not something to sleep on if you want those P90 pickups and that slab body. All right, let's also think a little bit out of the box. You like that guitar? You like the idea of a lightweight singing guitar? Here you go. How about the SG Standard, currently on sale, $13.99 in silver mist, which is a crazy deal. Or one of my favorite production guitars, the 61 SG Standard, it's $16.99 in Cardinal Red Burst. These guitars are fantastic, and they're gonna give you a similar type of playing experience to something like this Music City Special. You can also check out the Les Paul Studio Collection. The Modern is the same price now. This used to be $19.99, it's $17.99. The worn white finish is satin, it's probably the best. This is comparable in the sense that it's also an ebony fretboard. It's a beautiful guitar. Of the three studios on the market, you may know this about me, this is the one I prefer the least. However, this worn white is the best white finish that you can get on a studio. I love that. Otherwise, I would have you check out the Les Paul Studio, the regular at $15.99, which is fantastic. I really like this Cherry Sunburst. That's gonna have a rosewood fretboard, but if you're really into ebony, which this guitar is inspiring me to play ebony again, here you go. Les Paul Studio Session, $19.99, a little bit more money than that Music City Special, but you're gonna have an ebony fretboard, which is bound. And I should also mention the Les Paul Special is a bound fretboard as well. That's rosewood instead of ebony. So if you want kind of the whole comparable package and my best pick under $2,000 and you want a Les Paul style guitar, here you go. Les Paul Studio Session at $19.99. I adore this guitar. Now, we looked at some comparables, and those are all good options that you can shop using my link. So this is my favorite part. We've looked at the guitar and talked specs. Let's plug it in and play it. I'll remind you, if you're in the market for this guitar or any gear, click to buy new gear using my link. You help me make these videos when you do that, and it's a win-win because you get fast free shipping and easy payment plans. Those payment plans are worth checking out. And make sure you hit subscribe. If you like Les Pauls, this Cardinal Red Les Paul over my shoulder is going to one of you when we hit 100,000 subscribers. You must be subscribed to win. And when you subscribe, you won't miss a single new guitar review here on Plain Trade Guitars, so thanks for doing that. Without further ado, let's plug this guitar in. Here's the ultimate test, right? How does it sound? How does it play? I'll give you some playing demos and a full performance. On the other side, I'll give you my raw, honest reaction to playing this guitar, along with a final score. So let's plug in and play. I'll see you on the other side. Drop a comment as we go. what did you think? I'll remind you to hit subscribe. If you like this demo, there's plenty more of them on the channel. So hit subscribe and check those out, and then you won't miss any new guitar reviews in the channel. My job is to give you my honest assessment of what it was like to play this guitar and tell you whether or not it's worth your money. All right, so let's talk from head to toe what I liked and didn't like. I base a score for a guitar on 3 main categories: overall playability, overall sound, and overall value. So let's dive into those 3 now. From a playability standpoint, here is the standout positives. The ebony fretboard, beautiful, luxurious feel. The weight, 7-pound Les Paul style guitar. Come on, how can you beat a 7-pound Les Paul? Fantastic. Also in playability, simplicity. I love that we're just 2 controls here. You want just a simple rock machine, 1 volume, 1 tone, 3-way toggle down here I like too. And I'll tell you what, it's simple, and it's effective, and it's super playable. It was well balanced. Gloss finish is real nice finish. I mean, some people might even prefer a satin finish on maybe the Les Paul Modern Studio that I showed you, or the Les Paul Modern Light. But if you like that full gloss finish, this has got that gloss neck going on. Now, the only thing that detracted from playability, I will tell you that while it is a slim neck, it's a little bit wider. And as you go up the neck, you will feel kind of in your hands that it is a wider neck. So just be aware of that. It's still slim. It's not the end of the world. I did notice it. I will say once I got past probably the 9th fret into the upper territory, I noticed that this neck just felt a little bit wider. So just be aware of that. Overall playability, I'm gonna give this guitar an overall score of 8.5 on overall playability. Now when it comes to sound, I'm gonna have to go back and check the tapes, so to speak. I found these pickups to be a little bit muddy. And what's going on here is when I read them with a multimeter, they are reading very hot. And I like the extra get up and go you get from hot pickups, but I noticed just playing through a cleaner Fender, style Reverb Deluxe, that it was feeling a little bit muddy, and it was feeling a little bit just like woody, I guess would be the word, and not necessarily in a great way. So you can let me know in the comments what you thought of the sound of these pickups. I'm also still disappointed that for what inspired this guitar, they didn't go with P90s. I think P90s would have been a great choice on this guitar, or mini humbuckers with a more traditional ohms reading, because these might have just been too hot maybe for what my ear was expecting, but you can let me know what you think. Overall sound, I'm gonna give this guitar an overall sound score of 8.2 on overall sound. And then when it comes to value, this is $17.99 without a hard shell case. It's gonna include the Gibson gig bag, which is a super nice gig bag, but there is no hard shell case. You would get I guess you would get the Les Paul Jr. hard shell case if you wanted to add a hard shell case to this. But at $17.99 with the features, the odd choice of the poplar body, which is not a traditional tone wood, that makes it a little bit different. I should also mention that this guitar has a maple neck. And the last series I can think of that had a maple neck from Gibson under $2,000 was the Tribute series, which sadly they discontinued. I do sense that maple gives a Gibson guitar a distinct sound. And the combination, when we're talking sounds and value here, of using poplar and using maple and not being totally sure about that combination in terms of the sound, and then talking about overall value, I wanted to love this guitar more than I ended up loving it. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about recommending this guitar. Value score, I would have probably hoped for this to be maybe a little bit cheaper, but it is a limited edition. And it's got the ebony board, and it's got cool features. I'd probably give it an overall value score of 8.0 on overall value. It's under $2,000 from Gibson, which is hard to find these days, but don't be dissuaded because there are excellent options under $2,000. Review my list that I gave you earlier, because some of those are honestly better choices to buy than this guitar, to tell you the truth. That's my honest assessment. If you like the thin slab approach, you can check out that Les Paul Special with P90s, which is on sale. That's even got that bound fretboard. Now, while that's rosewood, you can check out something like the Les Paul Modern Studio or the Les Paul Studio Session. Those will both sport ebony fretboards in the same price range and just be all around better guitars with more traditional woods and construction. So all that said, I don't know if I would recommend this guitar. I'm gonna go ahead and not necessarily recommend this guitar unless this is really speaking to you for some reason, but I am gonna steer you towards those alternatives, which I think are better options overall. The guitar was cool. It left me a little wanting in terms of the neck feel being a little wide and also just the sound overall. I don't know if I was sold on this guitar, but that's my job. What do you think? Drop a comment, let me know. And if you're in the market for any of those alternatives, or if this guitar is really calling your name, hey, whatever you're buying, use my link. You support me when you use my link to buy new gear, and I really appreciate it. Remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss any new guitar reviews. We'd love to have you here as a guitar player and trader in the community. I can't wait to talk to you in the comments. Until next time, it's John from Plain Trade Guitars. Keep hanging out and keep playing. See you next time, and thanks for watching.